One of the questions posed were, how do I actually get my ear tuned into a new language I'm learning? A very important thing is to actually get the connection between your brain, your ear, and your mouth, so that it's no more a thinking process, but it's an automatic process. One item I use is a language learning from Netflix. You need the Chrome browser and you need Netflix access. This is very good for me here. So basically what you can do, you go to the website called languagelearningwithnetflix.com. You go and install the extension from the web store. Here it will say install to Chrome. Mine is already there, so it will remove it if I click that button now. So just install it. And then what will happen is once you've installed that extension, it will be available in your Chrome browser. In my extensions here on top, you can see here, this is the language learning with Netflix. So that's activated there. So once we go to Netflix, from Chrome, not from the Netflix apps itself, you'll get this new interface here. Also from the settings, one thing you can actually see what your subtitle language would be, what your audio language would be, and the translation language would be. There's human translation from Netflix itself, or there's artificial intelligence that you can actually do if you want to do the Pro feature. And that will actually then show the artificial or the machine translation for you. You'll see there are quite a few differences, but it's quite interesting to learn from that. Now, once that's going, there's a couple of keys that you can press. And here, one of the examples in how you can learn quite easily between the sort of like language differences, say, for example, Brazilian Portuguese and European Portuguese. Here is a sentence, for example. Your text will be on the right hand side, and you can actually go to each one of these. For example, if you want to know what the word expels is in Portuguese, then you just float over that and it will tell you it's expulso, expelido, and give you an example as well. And you can actually save that, make notes of that, which I will actually show you how I do that differently. Now here you can say the English here, that it says, can't you just talk to her? And you see the translation, that's a human translation based on Netflix. It says, não pode falar com ela. Now, when you listen to that sentence, não pode is more like a respectful, formal way. And if it was your friend, you would actually say, não pode. Now here, if you can actually look at the actual sentence, we're going to listen to the actual discussion.
Não podes falar com ela.
As you heard, it says, não podes falar com ela, so it's a little bit more informal, and it's actually very good to listen to that and get your mind in tune there. So if you want to re-listen to a sentence and get that into your mind, your brain, get that connection flowing, we press S on the keyboard and you re-listen
Não
to it.
podes falar com ela.
And you can do it again.
Não podes falar com ela.
And again and again. And then what you can do as well is actually then say it out loud and actually get that going, and that will help you with that. And then what I do next is, if I don't know a word, I would actually go and have created a spreadsheet with the most common Portuguese used words, and then I would translate that. And there's a few ways of translating that. That is actually using machine learning. For example, I hear Google Auto Translate. It's a function that I've put in, and everything is translated automatically. Now what I do as well, if you can see here, it says 1,000 verbs, 8 words, but as you get to the end, you'll see as there's other stuff coming on, it will actually, I'll put, like for example, amolecendo, getting soft, softening, and then I'll start putting examples in English and Portuguese as well. Now this is available for anybody to actually look at that. Then also get every day through that and make sure you actually understand that. So the more you listen, and this is the crucial thing, the more you listen and actually practice the sayings with that, it is very important to do and get that connection, as I said earlier, between the brain, the mouth and the ear. Now, and there's quite a few. I've actually got other novellas, soapies that I watch. Sabio, for example, that's on RTP. I'll actually have to put a link in there as well. So I'll put a link in there you can actually go to and actually watch the Sabio as well. I'll go into that as well. And then I've started reading a book and the book is quite high and a suggested book within high schools here. And then also I have defined resources. Now in Audible, if you use audible.com, you can actually subscribe to some of those. There's a book example here, Learning Portuguese, 1,000 Portuguese phrases. It's actually quite good. You can walk around, drive around your car and do that. That's at 22 hours. And then Lingui, and you'll see there's a website as well like DeepL, which I'll touch on as well, which is much better than Google Translate, because Google Translate gives you Brazilian Portuguese, and that's not what you want if you want to be in Portugal per se. Then also, if you want to go from online training point of view, the best I've found is practiceportuguese.com, and an amazing site run by Rui and Joel. And at this site as well, I do the yearly thing, and because there's learning audio studio, learning notes, and also podcasts. Now, podcast is also available on your phone. You can go to that, download your podcast player, and actually get their stuff. They actually speak mostly Portuguese. The earlier episodes I did, they actually also a great mix between English and Portuguese, but it's actually very good if you actually re-listen to those, mostly in Portuguese, because the practice the ears. And there's discussion groups and so on. So actually really one of the better ones. I actually look at that. Sometimes the question might be as well, what about, so I highly recommend practiceportuguese.com. At Sabio, the actually one I refer to here, what I'll do is actually identify this and actually put it in the resources. And I'll do the spelling correctly now. And what I'll do is go back and give you the link for the actual soap opera or the telenovela. Now, if you look at Sabio here, now Sabio is actually quite nice. Or Sabio means in Portuguese the wise man, or male being male. And this is a very good story to actually watch as well. Now, what I would highly recommend here's the first episode. There's 364 episodes in total. What will help you here, it will be in Portuguese, and you can add the subtitles. So it's very good to start trying to learn and listen the ear. And it's often, you won't understand quite a lot of it. If you start, you'll start understand very little of it. But this is where your brain starts doing the work itself. It's like when a baby starts learning, it's like you'll know certain words come up. So what we'll do here is before we start playing, we'll say the closed caption, we will put it in Portuguese. And then also, and that's it. And now what happens, I'm going to start playing a little bit so you can actually see what you get here. Now, also very good at this, you can actually then stop and actually looking at this. So, and then you can also see the exact wording. So you'll have to immerse yourselves. You'll have to read the subtitles if you want to. Later in life, what you can do as well, when you get better, you don't need to put the subtitles anymore, but you can just listen and your ear will get better by that. One thing also very important, there's another thing called the shadowing technique. Now, when we actually get a little bit into the story, if I can actually see where that is, let's actually get there. Now also, you've heard there what he said, and then what you need to try and do is, although you might not know what it means, try to say what it is, so your mouth is actually doing the practice as well. Really important, because sometimes the pronunciation becomes your hurdle, your stumbling block in speaking the language properly. And then also listen to people properly. And there are rules as well that you actually can go through. Coming back to Audible, when we actually look at the Audible resources here, what I'll do as well is add a little bit more here. So if you actually have this link, you'll be able to learn every day, listen to short stories and so on. So the idea here is actually the practice using either RTP Play if you don't have Netflix, because that's also quite good, but the Netflix learning the language with Netflix gives you the ability to start and stop and re-listen to it and actually make notes and so on. It's actually one of the best resources, but I highly recommend this as well. Also, going straight to RTP1 and listen to the news every day as well, so you actually do that. The final note here is DeepL Translate. Now, very good for Windows as well. And what I can do as well here is give a quick example on how you can actually use this. So let me actually open a notepad. And within the notepad, say for example, you want to write something in Portuguese, but your base language is English. You say, yeah, let's actually do, hello, my friend. How is your foot today? Because maybe he's hurt his foot. And goodbye. Even if there's spelling mistakes or things like that. Now basically I highlight it, and because I have DeepL installed in my computer, it is twice Control-C, and it will bring up the translation, so deep learning translation into Portuguese. So this you can actually see, you can select either Brazilian or actual Portuguese, and there's other languages as well. And then once you've actually done this, you'll see basically you can learn from that as well. And if I say insert, it'll actually translate it for that as well. So this works in WhatsApp online here. It works on your emails and so on, which is actually quite good. So it actually makes you learn as well. The idea here basically is you have to immerse yourself. You have to actually get through all and focus. You have to minimum 30 minutes a day minimum to actually get additional stuff. And then the final one is what I do is in one of my tabs says just because, and what I get there sometimes you hear the idiomatic expressions, and just if it sounds good and a little bit more colloquial. And as you can see, I do that. A thief was caught red-handed, and how it's actually done in Portuguese. Now then also sometimes to actually write a C, for example, this is quite a quick trick. If you want to, and I'll put a link up there as well with all what they call ASCII escape codes. For example, if you want to do a C with a cedilla, so that's a little C in the trapassa, as you can see the word here, it's called a cedilla, so it's pronounced as an S sound. And how do you write that if you've got an English keyboard, a UK or American keyboard? Well, what you do here, it gives you for a cedilla, for example, it's called Alt, and then an escape code 135. Now, Alt 135, if you do that, you keep the Alt key down like I'm doing now, and you go 135 and let go of the key, and there's the cedilla. Now, there are quite a few of them that you actually have to learn. And if I actually, for example, do the Alt 128, that will give me the capital letter of the cedilla. It's Alt 128. The only thing that I actually find not directly with the shortcode like that, the 3 letters, if you do a 0 before the 128, also very important. So if I actually go Alt-0128, one of the important things that you have to know, of course, and that's the euro sign. That's the only way I can get that. So I don't have a Portuguese keyboard on my computer, and that's how you do it. What I'll do as well is actually define the link quickly, where you can actually look that up on the sheet as well. So I'll do that as part of the resources, as the ASCII table that you can actually go check, and that you can go pick up at that link I've actually put in there now. So what we can actually do is just rather the link, and there you go. Well, have fun. Questions and comments are welcome. Try and record yourself as well and listen to yourself afterwards, because sometimes the pronunciation is quite tricky.